Corner Talk, we are back and we are joined by Kayla Hracho, who I've been high on for such a long time, fighting April 15th at Combate against Daniela Hernandez, joining us from sunny Florida. What are your travel tips to Florida? Because that has to be my next destination.
It's funny that you asked that today because literally the Fort Lauderdale airport is flooded right now. Like flights are canceled.
Oh,
Actually, the whole city is pretty flooded. So Florida kind of has a mind of its own. It's usually extremely beautiful and sunny, but sometimes we get these waves of flooding.
yeah. So it's
Better
literally
check
like,
the
wait,
weather.
are
Check
you
the
saying
weather
it's
before you come.
that's true? I said sunny. Like, what is it? Yesterday was it sunny? I don't know what it was like, but like, you know what's funny? I was thinking before this when I was gonna bring this up. I was thinking like, wait, but Florida like also has a lot of rain at the same time, so I'm hoping it was sunny today. I messed it up. Anyway,
It's been
but
raining for like the last 4 days, probably, like just rain,
okay,
rain, rain. But the sun is back out. Oh, it looks so beautiful outside.
there we go.
Yeah, it's
That's like the
nice out
natural
now.
light just hit your face. Like,
I know yeah, it's
there you go.
beautiful out.
I
The
see.
sun
Like
is
I hear
blinding.
the like the whatever the sun. um. So yeah. Your opponent, you said like so you're fighting on Combate April 15th. You've been with them for a little bit now. Um your opponent is someone that I feel like they're trying to build up a little bit. Like they always try to like build up their Latin fighters and everything. Like
Mhm.
what is something that we should know about her that, that when you've studied her and everything, what are some things she does very well and what are some things you got to watch out for, you feel like?
Good question. So it's no secret that she comes from a strong wrestling background. I think she was competing on like the Mexican national team or something like that for quite a long time. So she has definitely a ton of wrestling experience, but to be honest, I don't see that as much of a threat. I think the biggest skill that she has is that number one, she's a good competitor. She has a ton of experience competing and she looks comfortable in the cage. She looks at home. And I think she's a good competitor. She's good at staying in the moment and she kind of knows what she has to do to win. So I think that's probably one of her best attributes. I would say that, and just the fact that she's a tough little Mexican fighter. She's not afraid to throw hands. She has a wrestling background, but she definitely has some striking skills. So I'm really excited for this matchup. It's the kind of fight that gets excited.
Is it you said that because normally they'd be like, okay, this is a wrestler, right? So like, she has a wrestling base and everything, so people, yeah, often would expect like a fight that just stays on the ground and everything like that. But you're saying that that's not where it's gonna stay, because like your fights are the opposite. Like I mean, you've been implementing grappling and more and stuff in your game. Actually, you won the last one mostly based on grappling, but it's always like very exciting and striking. It's a big stand up war always.
Yeah, I think like people will probably look at this as like a grappler striker matchup, but I mean, I don't think it is at all. I think she's got pretty good striking, and I think I have good grappling. So I feel like this fight can go anywhere, and I'm prepared to win it anywhere.
And then you mentioned like she has a a high pedigree and like training and wrestling and stuff like that. But you are someone who has worked on your wrestling with like some of the best in the game because you train at ATT, right? It's like how much does that play into your confidence basically going into this matchup?
Definitely a ton. I mean, I might not be winning every day on the mat, but I'm pushed and I'm certainly learning and I'm testing my skills against some of the best, so that does definitely bring me confidence. I feel like I'm confident that she's never fought anyone like me or even trained with anyone like me. So yeah, that high level training that I get on a daily basis definitely brings me a lot of confidence in my preparation for sure.
And aside from working on your grappling, like something else, a big change that you made is you've gone down to Atomweight.
Mm-hmm.
So what were the considerations that went into that, and like how much different do you feel now that you've had your first Atomweight experience? At least I
Good
think it was your
question.
first, right?
This is my second Atomweight fight.
No, but the previous one was your first ever
Yeah.
Atomweight
Yep.
experience. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the decision to go down to Atomweight, it wasn't too tough of a decision. I obviously had a lot of fights at strawweight, and I felt good there. I didn't really cut any weight. I was kind of a natural strawweight, and I just found that um, although like I'm not a huge advocate of cutting weight, I found myself really undersized at 115, and I felt like it was affecting my performances, and it was affecting um the result of the fight. So I really did feel a size difference, even going for takedowns, even in the power of the punches. So I decided to just give it a try, see if I didn't even know if I could really make 105. I wanted to give it a try and see how it felt.
Mm.
And it felt great, to be honest. The weight cut, it's not bad at all. It takes a little bit more discipline, obviously, but I feel really strong at 105. I feel like this is the weight class I'm supposed to be in. So I'm looking forward to seeing, especially stylistically, like how much more I can show being
Mm-hmm.
in this weight class.
You say you don't cut too much, so the power sort of, or your strength more like translates into this weight class, you feel like?
I do.
Yeah.
At 115, girls cut a lot of weight. I don't know if people realize, but girls cut
Yeah.
a lot, so especially for my style, like I like to pressure, I like to come forward, I like to throw hands and wrestle. I found that really, really hard to do against girls that were so tall and so long and so big.
Mm.
So yeah, I tried out 115 for a long time, and yeah, I felt comfortable there, and I feel like I can do great at 115, but I do feel like 105 is more suited for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you did yeah, I thought you won that fight anyway against Uhaira at least, and but I mean, you know more than anyone like what the power feels like. So I guess, I mean, if you could make 105, like make 105, like just keep doing that. I would say, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I had a few close fights at 115, like that could have went either way, and in my opinion, like the size difference and the power difference made a difference in the result and in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want that to be an excuse, because obviously like there's things that I can do better, and there's things that I take away from those experiences, but it feels good to be at the right spot, where I belong.
Mm-hmm. And then so you come from a like very technical boxing base, like just anyone who watches you can tell you come from boxing, right? So did you have any difficulties adapting to MMA? What were the difficulties to in adapting to MMA if you did have them?
Oh, for sure. I mean, when I started MMA about 6 years ago from boxing, I had to basically strip everything I knew and kind of start over. Um, and being at a place like ATT was really hard. Like
Mm.
my first weeks on the mat of doing MMA, I was sparring with girls like Tisha Torres and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. So,
Oh
I
man,
mean, they were literally kicking the shit out of me, like kicking. Just they didn't even have to punch me; they could just kick, kick, kick.
you're like, what is this? What are these
Yeah,
legs?
it was rough. It was rough for a long time.
Yeah,
Probably like a good 3 or 4 years. It was
yeah,
pretty rough. So it took time to adjust and to really figure out how to implement my boxing in MMA. And I'm still learning that every day. I
yeah.
really feel like I 100% believe I have the ability to knock girls out.
I think so.
So that's the goal, like just to figure out, different setups and footwork and timing in order to start doing that.
So you're really like focused on that, like sort of setting those traps and everything like that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, nice, and that's what keeps it exciting. You always gonna be looking for the knockout. That's your whole training is adapted towards looking for a knockout. No,
Yeah,
does
for
that have
sure.
anything to do with the fact that like there has been some judging problems, in my opinion, in Combate as well? Like, does it make you nervous knowing that even the last fight? So here's the thing about the last fight. The last fight, you completely dominated all 3 rounds, but you
Mhm.
won a split decision. And even on their website, I remember it said Kayla Hracho dominates opponent, wins by split decision. which is a very big contradiction. So like, does
Yeah,
that make you nervous at all? Play into your game plan?
it does. I mean, it does kind of make me nervous, but I try not to think about it too much. Like, if anything, it just it motivates me to just be on the entire time, to be in control of the fight for the entire 15 minutes, and
Mhm.
to not do anything to leave it in the judge's hands. So it just makes me want to be better, better at controlling and leaving absolutely no doubt.
I was just listening to this mindset coach recently on this podcast that I edit, and he was talking about when he works with fighters specifically, like focusing on 15 seconds at a time and being playing the perfect 15 seconds every time, like you know. And I think if you go by that point, like you could always end up with a finish, and if you don't end up with a finish, you end up with a dominant enough win that there's no way the judges can get it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a good mindset thing. Like, um, so that transition to MMA, and then you ended up in this room full of killers and people you were probably a fan of. Yeah. What was the stage where you actually thought, okay, I'm gonna go all in. I think I have a future in MMA and go all in on it.
I mean, I was kind of all in from the start.
Right, just all the
I
chips
mean,
on the table.
to think like I moved my entire life to South Florida. I had like $100 to my name, and I was basically starting like 4 new sports at the same time. And I feel like making the decision to move here and to train every day, that was my commitment. And it's been a bumpy road since then. It's been really, really bumpy. And I've learned a lot about myself in the process as a person and as a fighter. But my commitment never ever stopped. I'm just as committed now as I was when I was brand new walking in the door 6 years ago. So my commitment never changed, not after losses, not after tough split decisions, never changed. So I'm looking forward to seeing that commitment and that hard work pay off.
Hmm. And those changes that you added, are those are probably more like information. So commitment never changed, but like the information you learn, and like nutrition is another thing we talk about sometimes, is like probably something that like you start adding those small pieces in to make the commitment pay off tenfold, you know?
Oh, for sure. I mean, when I first came here, I didn't know that much about fighting. I was walking around heavier, my body was different.
Hmm.
When I South Africa for 6 weeks, or when I went to South Africa for 6 weeks and competed there, I mean, I was competing at 132 pounds. So I was
Yeah,
kind of just taking any fight and racking up all the experience I could get. And now I'm at 105, so
it's crazy.
my body has changed, my mind has changed, and my skills have certainly improved.
Hmm. So, and I say life outside, like a life outside the cage is also just even more important, probably. Like, and just the mental stability it creates is even more important than the training. A lot of the time, like,
Mm-hmm.
what are some of those changes that have happened, and like what's prompted those?
Good question. Man, so much of my time in Florida has been like just renting rooms from people. And like, I mean, the last place I lived was with an 80-year-old woman who didn't speak any English.
Hmm.
So, I mean, for 6 years, it's been a ride, just doing whatever you have to do to focus on training as much as possible. And um, yeah, it's been a ride. I've probably moved like 8 to 10 times since I've been in Florida. So constantly just kind of like moving around and searching for a better situation.
Hmm.
And I finally have it. About 2 months ago, I moved again, in with a few of my friends. And as you can see, my lovely room, this is like my oasis.
Hmm.
Um, you
We
could
got
ask my
everything you need.
roommates. I like barely leave my room because I'm just so in love with like my safe space and kind of a place to call home. And I think that's instrumental for a fighter. I really do.
Mm.
And I haven't had it. This is the first time I've experienced it really since I've been in Florida. So I feel happy, and I think that's important.
Yeah, serenity, like somewhere to get back to and go neutral mode again. Like, yeah, yeah. Does that feel like, I mean, like, did you have a very chaotic life before that? Is it, I know
Yes.
like there's instability of like moving and all that, but like aside from
Yeah.
that, like, yeah, you seem like, I mean, because you have your faith as well now, and it's like very,
Hmm.
just a very
No, I've
different person. Like, yeah.
I've definitely had some chaotic situations. I was in a pretty toxic relationship for a few years, and that basically took the life out of me. And it took a long time to kind of recover from that and find myself again.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm in a really, really good place right now, mentally, spiritually, physically.
Hmm.
And I'm just excited to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is so you did so that change happened. Did you have it before the last fight? Like, were you already like in this stage of your life? I know you didn't have the same place, but like, were you already out of that toxic situation before the last fight?
I was out of the toxic
Hmm.
situation, but I didn't really have the best living situation. That's when
Okay,
I
yeah.
was living with the 80-year-old, which
Hmm.
honestly, she was wonderful, and it was
It's just
fine.
frustrating, right? It's that's all. It can get
It
frustrating
just
sometimes.
wasn't home,
Yeah.
it was difficult. It was difficult to communicate with her. Like,
Hmm.
um, she would like ask me to run errands for her and stuff, and I had no time, and um like I couldn't like cook when I wanted to. So I mean, it's challenging to be in a fight camp and
Yeah.
to be in a place where you don't really have like freedom to do what you need to do.
Yeah. No, the reason I asked the timeline is also because like that means that this fight coming now is where everything has fallen into place, and you can really say this was your best camp, right? So also
100%.
outside of the cage, I think that's very
100%.
important. Yeah, yeah. Um,
Probably the only camp I've had where, I mean, I've had good camps in the past for sure, but yeah, it definitely feels like everything's coming together at a good time.
mhm. So what can the fans expect? I'll end on that question. What can the fans expect on Saturday? It's Saturday, right? Yeah.
The fans can expect a fire. The fans can expect fire.
Can expect K Rock to come in Rocky
Yeah.
style.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
definitely coming
Yeah.
to bring my best.
Yeah. Just derail a hype train also. Kind of
For
like.
sure. I mean, like, I'm very aware that, this girl's undefeated. I feel like she's kind of Combate's baby. Um, she's got some hype around her.
Mhm.
I'm coming to spoil it. Who better than me?
I mean, so where do you go from there? Because I mean, we talk off air a lot. She like you say there's no title holder yet. There's no champion in Atomweight there. Is that something you're eyeing? I mean, and then there's other promotions as well? Like, what are you looking at?
For sure.
Let's say,
So after
yeah.
this fight, I have one more fight on my contract with Combate. I don't think they have a crown champion right now, but I believe they have, I forget her name to be honest, but I know they have a girl that's like ranked number one that has strung together some really good wins. So hey, if they want to give me a title shot, I would love that.
Hmm.
And then after that, I don't know, man. We'll see.
After
We'll
that, the
see.
world's your oyster.
Yeah,
Yeah, nice. Okay, let's do some fan questions. There's a few that I wanted to get through,
let's do it.
and then we can end it. Um, so Jimmy Wild, what was it like training with Joanna?
Joanna, when Joanna is on the mats, it's like I'm literally like a little kid in a candy store. Like you can ask my teammates. I get so excited when she's coming into town because I know the training is going to be fierce and fire. Joanna and I have a really good connection, especially on the mats. We just kind of have this understanding of like we're going to come and we're going to scrap. Uh,
Hmm.
and she beats the crap out of me. Joanna's the
In a
kind of
loving
girl.
way.
Yeah. Joanna's the kind of girl that could like take 6 months off of training and come in and like still feel like she's training for a title fight, you know? So that
Nice.
girl, she really is about it. She really is just as fierce as she seems in her fights. She's like that on the mats. So training with her over the last 5 years or so has been such an honor. I've learned a lot from her, and honestly, she's a great leader. I like her mentality. She trains super hard. She brings good energy to the mats, and um, she's not here anymore, which is sad. But I try to kind of keep that same energy as if she
Hmm.
were here.
It sounds like she used to be during her fights as well. Just takes a lot of time off, and then like when she fought Wiley again, like it was to me it felt like this. It's like they picked up where they left off. Like
Yeah,
let's, yeah. But also in terms of leadership, she has gone into management, right? Like I don't know if that's a plan she has, but or if that's something she's already doing. But I think
I,
that would be a great asset.
yeah. I think she has expressed some interest in being a manager, which is really cool. I think she would be great at it.
Yeah. Um, Taurus Drake, are you doing any work on the side? Would you like to do modeling?
Um,
I don't, I don't know if this is
well,
a photographer or yeah.
was the first question like, do I have a job? They want to
Yeah,
know.
do you do any work on the side? Yeah.
So I'm actually not working right now because I am a full-time graduate student. So yeah, that takes up a lot of my time.
Mm.
I like just what was it like 2 weeks ago? I had finals. So being in a fight camp and focusing on a weight cut and nutrition and also dealing with school finals, like it's tough. I mean, I would be in the gym and then I would come straight to my room and typing away on my computer for 6 to 8 hours and go back to the gym, and that was my life, for a good
Man.
2 weeks during this camp. So sometimes I just have to buckle down and grind it out and do what I got to do to check things off the list. Um, but I've really, really been enjoying being in school. Uh, I enjoy it. I learned so much, and yeah, I'm really happy that I made the decision to go back.
Yeah, cuz what are you studying right now?
So I'm pursuing a master's in clinical mental health counseling.
Hmm. Yeah. So that's something, I mean, so obviously that's something you'd be passionate about. I know this is fan questions, but sometimes I like to build on them. um this is something you're passionate about.
Okay.
So is it something that you see yourself doing, and what got yourself like, I mean, after fighting, and what got you so interested in it?
So I graduated with my bachelor's in psychology. That's kind of where my interest started. And after college, I worked in the field and I gained some experience. And I spent a lot of time working with kids with severe mental and behavioral disorders. And this is all before I started fighting. And it was like a fight, man. Like it was a challenge. And I mean, I loved it. I loved doing what I could to make a difference in these kids' lives, and seeing their improvements daily
Mm.
was extremely, it was just a blessing. So, and then I started fighting, and my plans kind of changed a little bit. After my bachelor's, I thought I was going to go back to school right away to pursue a master's, but I kind of put those plans on hold to travel the world and fight. But about a year ago, I started to reconsider going back to school,
Mhm.
and it wasn't really a tough choice, like once I got the idea in my head, I was like, I'm doing it. Like I can do both. I can do
Yeah.
both and I can do both well. So once I kind of told myself that and made that decision, I started applying, and here I am.
Look,
Really,
that's a
really happy.
nice. Yeah, that's a difference. I feel like when you like decide to do college at a bit of an older age than regular students would, is like there's that maturity and discipline that you've built up, where like you're replacing all the crazy partying side, at least when I think about myself if I would go back, with like that. So you replace the partying with the training in a sense.
Oh,
So you do
100%.
have enough time. It's just, discipline and
No, it's
maturity.
definitely different. Like
Yeah.
when I went to college for my bachelor's when I was, I don't know, whatever, 20 years old, I actually failed out of my first year of college. I failed out because that's how immature I was. I spent my time partying and I didn't go to class and I didn't take it seriously. And now in a master's program, I have a 4.0, like
Amazing.
all A's.
Wow.
So, yeah, it just goes to show like, not only
Mhm.
maturity, but just the discipline that I now have and the way that I live my life. And, I'm a lot more focused on my goals and what I need to do in order to succeed. And yeah, man, I'm a
Yeah.
changed woman.
Yeah. Reform. You're drinking tea like me, huh? Like that. But yeah, no, because I remember I'll share this story. I mean, because there's one party experience that really like showed my entrepreneurial spirit back in college. Like we did a bachelorette party kind of thing. We stripped. We did the whole thing. But we made like so we were actually giving beer and wine for free, and we had people pay entry. Like there was this the student building we were living in. Like almost 300 people showed up. We were out of bands to give. Like we gave we did stamps, and we were charging for hard liquor. We ended
Oh
up
my,
making like 1,300 euros, which is more than $1,300 that night, my friend and I. And we're like, wow. So we were taking marketing at that point, and we used that party as our case study for the semester to be like, this is our business.
oh
We
my
made more money
God.
than any other ones in class. So at least
That's
like something
cool.
good came out of the party.
Yeah, you've
Yeah.
got like a real business mindset. That's awesome.
Yeah, I posted it recently. I'll send you the picture of well, there's a picture of my buddy and I just like afterwards with all the cash like sticking out of our clothes and like I don't know. Yeah, but probably it's a different mindset right now.
Yeah.
Um all right, there's a few more. BK Moan 4. Do you have any stories on the street or for self-defense? I guess this is a street fighting question.
Do I have any story? Like, have I ever been in a street fight? That's what they want to know.
I assume so. It's like, do you have any stories on the street or for self defense? So let's say, do you have any street fighting
So,
stories?
I mean, a couple. I got in a fight in high school. I fought a girl like twice in the same day.
Oh.
I got suspended. I didn't start the fight. She started the fight. We're cool
Okay.
now, though. Old beef. It was about something silly, but
We're living together now, man.
it's funny because I remember we were at lunch and she was like in my face, like screaming at me. And my first reaction was to push her. So I like that was
It's like,
that
get
was
out my
kind of how the
space.
fight started. Like I pushed her really, really hard and she fell and it was just kind of a wrap from there. But that, and I think I fought once in college. I
Really? Oh,
punched a
shit.
guy. So
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
there's that. I think
Yeah.
he hit me back too. And then
Oh man.
I was probably drunk, so I don't really remember, but
But were
I
you
like
training at that point?
I remember no training. No.
Oh, okay,
This is when
shit.
I was playing rugby. So I was pretty aggressive, but yeah, I kind of forget what happened, but I hit a guy and he actually hit me back and then my guy friends just like I don't know, they took care of it. Sorry
That's
to
useful.
that
Yeah.
guy.
You need to have those guy friends.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
that's about all I
I'm
remember.
assuming the dude wasn't an Atomweight, like, you know.
Yeah, no, he wasn't.
No, no.
But like I haven't even been close to getting into a fight, since I started training. Like not even close. And people
Yeah,
say that.
so sorry, yeah, continue.
People say like when you're trained, like you're not looking for fights like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's like your ego goes out the door. You're like,
For
I
sure.
don't know. Maybe aside from like also frustrations or whatever, you're working them out during training. I guess it more has to do with you have nothing to prove. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. Like I think like you said, you kind of get your aggression out in the gym and like you're too tired. Like when you're not training, you're too tired. You don't want to pick fights with people.
Yeah.
And I think it's also just like me personally, I just realized that I mean, it's not worth it. I think it comes with maturity as well. Like, what benefit comes out of fighting in the street, you know? Unless like there was a reason I had to defend myself or to defend someone that I love, like then it's on. But unless that
Oh
happens,
yeah.
like, and I don't really put myself in those positions either. Like, I'm not going out to clubs or, yeah, no.
You know what's funny? So you say like, yeah, you're not looking for it, but like to defend other people, yeah.
Yeah,
I have this thing when I'm walking with my girl or something down the street or something. That's when I suddenly my senses are more aware. Like that's when I'm like, anything, if anything pops off, like that's when I'm nervous. I'm like ready for anything to happen.
good. That's
But a
good.
lot of people don't have it. But that also came with fighting. Like after I started training at a young age and stuff. But like when I upped it, that's when that started clicking in a little bit more. Like I gotta be ready because like I think your defense is sort of different, so you have to be ready to defend. It's initially like
Yeah.
immediately. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's funny that you
Yeah.
say that because I've always been like that too, like extremely aware of my surroundings. And I've always
Mm.
kind of been like, even though I was kind of a nut growing up, like I was always sort of a protector as well. Like if me and my friends went out, just constantly like head on a swivel and being aware of everything that's going on. Yeah, I think that awareness is good.
I feel like, but so as a woman, you're supposed to be aware all the time. I think because the threats are
Yeah.
bigger, right? So yeah, it's funny. It's interesting to. So that threat, as I'm saying, like sort of transfers to me when I'm with a woman, but it's not there as much when I'm alone in the street. Even if it's a dangerous area, it's not as much there as when I have a girl with me. You know.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
good.
I guess
It's
yeah,
good that you're like that.
yeah.
Protect the
So
women.
yes, protect it, guys. Protect your women. God damn it!
Protect the
Like,
women. Yes.
they'll put that out as
And
a
men,
PSA.
learn how to fight. Men, learn
They
how to
have to.
fight so you can protect your woman.
Oh, dude, like I know we're going for a little while, but now I'm very curious because this is something like a lot of female fighters have this issue, right? When dating someone who doesn't fight,
Mhm.
it's a lot can't do it, and I understand it. Yeah, like, like how can you date someone who's supposed to be the protector that you are better at kicking ass than they do? Can you do it?
Yeah, I could definitely date someone that doesn't fight. I totally get it though. Like I think it is kind of harder, especially being a female fighter. It's a little bit different, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of men, I would assume, like, wouldn't really want to date a female fighter if it fights because, like, it's different, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think that there's like less men that are attracted to that kind of female, but
Mm.
I would definitely date a guy who didn't fight. He would just have to be like extremely understanding of you know, what it takes to be a fighter and the mindset. And you know, he would certainly just have to be supportive in that aspect.
Yeah. All right.
I've
That's
never
good.
done it. I mean, I've never, like, since I was fighting, I never dated anyone that didn't fight. Um, so I don't know. I don't really
Okay.
have that experience.
I mean, it's good to be open minded. I guess that's why. Yeah. But see, I totally get it. If someone doesn't even train or fight, like, if that would be a turnoff for some people who fight.
Yeah.
Dude, at this point, like, I want my girl to know how to fight, and I'm not even expecting her to get into any scraps or anything. It's more like I guess it's like I think we were talking off air. It's like passion sharing. Maybe that's the thing.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't look at it as a turn off at all.
yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe turn off is a very strong word, honestly.
Like
But
I would
like,
want him to be like healthy and in shape. And I'm not saying like a
oh yeah,
professional athlete, but just like, you know, obviously someone who cares about their health and kind of at least lives like a similar lifestyle. Um, but
mm,
yeah, I would date me like a businessman or yeah,
a fit businessman.
absolutely. Because I'm more
Yeah.
than a fighter, you know, like I'm
Oh
so
yeah,
much more than a fighter. Um, so yeah, it would just have to be somebody who is understanding and supportive of the process.
I love all those answers. Um, Last question I'll ask. This is a friend of mine, San Fran Giant fan, is a female coach actually in San Diego. Really good Muay Thai coach. And she always
Cool.
likes to ask, this is a long one. What do you think about the way women are promoted in MMA versus men? Have you ever been promoted in a way you found sexist by a promotion in the past? And do you think it's gotten better during the time you've been fighting?
Hmm. I mean, this is kind of a hard question to answer because, like, when I think about the pinnacle of MMA, I think about the UFC. And in my opinion, the UFC, I think they market the females just like they market the males. And I think that's incredible. Like, you know, females get the same kind of like airtime and promotion that the males get, which is incredible to see kind of in like such a short period of time. But I guess outside of the UFC, I don't know that like promotions really promote females differently, but I think that females promote themselves differently.
Interesting.
And I think that that kind of has an effect on the sport. I don't want to say like whether it's positive or negative because to each their own, right? Like, and it works, to be honest. Like, sex sells,
Yeah.
and women who promote themselves in a sexy way, like they do it because it works, and it's making them money and getting them more followers, more popularity. So yeah, it's kind of a tough one for me to answer, to be honest. I try not to focus on it.
Mm.
I try to focus on myself and my morals, my values, the way that I want to promote myself, the type of like fans that I want to attract, and that works for me. You know, just focusing on what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. To each their own. Um, Well, I guess we'll end it on that. Just because we've been going for a bit, we can talk about this one forever. Um,
Probably.
but Kayla, thanks so much. Thanks so much for coming by, and good luck Saturday. I'm really looking forward to it. Of course, we'll continue promoting you and everything. Um, you got some merch coming soon. I heard. I know.
Yes. Yes, thanks to
What is that
you.
coming? Oh, I
I don't
appreciate.
know.
It's
Hopefully
so good.
ASAP.
Yeah. I'll send those to you soon. But guys, watch out for that. Look out for that. We're gonna promote that too.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, Nick created me this awesome design for some merchandise, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. Also, if you're interested in getting some merchandise for yourself, he is your guy. Let him design something for you because he works fast and he does an incredible job.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
For sure.
But make sure I'm not backed up. The fast thing, we'll see. We'll see. But I'll try. I'll try my best. I'll try to be fast. Hey, thank you. Thank you so much. And good luck
Yes.
Saturday, April 15th.
Thank you. Talk to you guys soon.